Hello and welcome to Ani Short Stories. I hope you enjoy this story. I'm going to try and upload a new story each day. The Ciphered Diary. In the sleepy town of Willow Creek, where the wind carried whispers of forgotten tales through gnarled oak branches, a chilling discovery shattered the autumn stillness. Elena Grayson, a reclusive writer whose novels had once bewitched the literary world, lay dead in her study. Her frail form slumped over an antique desk, a quill pen frozen in her grip, its ink long dried. Beside her rested a leather-bound diary, its pages a cryptic tapestry of symbols and letters that defied comprehension. To the untrained eye, it was gibberish. To Detective Holly Arnold, it was a beacon in the fog of a murder investigation. At 28, Holly was an anomaly in the Willow Creek precinct, a young woman with a mind as sharp as the autumn frost, often dismissed by seasoned officers who mistook her youth for inexperience. Yet, beneath her unassuming exterior burned a relentless curiosity and a knack for unraveling puzzles others deemed unsolvable. Assigned to Elena's case, she stepped into the old Grayson mansion, her boots echoing against the hardwood floors. The air hung heavy with the scent of aged paper and secrets, and the walls, adorned with stone portraits of Elena's ancestors, seemed to watch her every move. Holly's gaze settled on the diary. Its worn cover hinted at years of use, and the strange markings within suggested a deliberate attempt to conceal its contents. "A code," she murmured. She tucked the diary under her arm, sensing it held the key to Elena's untimely demise. Back at the station, under the harsh glow of a desk lamp, Holly began her work. The symbols danced before her eyes, letters twisted into unfamiliar shapes, a riddle begging to be solved. The code unraveled. Holly's first task was to identify the cipher. A substitution cipher, perhaps, where each letter stood for another. Or something more intricate. She recalled a dog-eared copy of Pride and Prejudice she'd spotted on Elena's shelf, its spine cracked from countless readings. Elena had been a writer, a lover of words. Might she have drawn inspiration from her favorite novel? Holly flipped to the diary's front page, where a quote was scrawled in elegant cursive. "It is a truth universally acknowledged." A smile tugged at her lips. The keyword could be truth. Testing her theory, she tackled the first entry, XJMMZ, JBN JOHSFBU EBOFs. If it was a Vijna cipher, the keyword truth would repeat across the text, shifting each letter by a corresponding value. She scribbled furiously, aligning the alphabet with the keyword's letters T19, R17, U20, T19, H7 and subtracted these shifts from the coded text. After a tense hour, the message emerged. "Dear Diary, I am in great danger. Someone is following me, and I fear for my life." Holly's pulse quickened. Elena had known she was in peril. The diary wasn't just a record, it was a desperate plea from beyond the grave. As she decoded further entries, a picture of Elena's final days took shape. The writer had been crafting a novel, one that promised to expose the scandal buried deep within Willow Creek's founding family, the Worthingtons. Their wealth and influence cast a long shadow over the town, and Elena's pen had threatened to pierce that veil. Shadows of suspects. The Worthingtons became Holly's prime focus. Jonathan Worthington, the family patriarch, was a man of granite resolve, his stern demeanor a fortress against prying questions. His wife, Victoria, fluttered nervously in his presence, her eyes darting as if guarding her own secrets. Their son, Marcus, was a tempest of arrogance and entitlement, his playboy lifestyle funded by the family's pharmaceutical empire. Each had a motive if Elena's book endangered their legacy. But the diary hinted at others. An entry dated weeks before Elena's death read, "Thomas came today, furious about the will. He thinks I owe him everything." Thomas Grayson, Elena's nephew, had expected to inherit her estate, only to learn she bequeathed it to a literary charity. His resentment simmered, a potential spark for murder. Then there was Mrs. Jenkins, Elena's housekeeper of 20 years, whose quiet demeanor belied the access she had to her employer's life. Could she have stumbled upon the manuscript and turned to blackmail? Holly interviewed them all. Jonathan claimed he hadn't spoken to Elena in decades, but his clenched jaw betrayed a lie. Victoria stammered through vague denials. Marcus sneered, dismissing Elena as a washed-up scribbler. Thomas ranted about betrayal, his fists balled tight. Mrs. Jenkins offered tea in platitudes, her hands trembling slightly. Each encounter left Holly with more questions, the suspect's words a maze of half-truths. Secrets in the study. Days bled into nights as Holly pored over the diary. An entry from a month prior chilled her. They know about the book. The letter started today. Stop writing, or I'll pay the price. Blackmail. Someone had threatened Alina, and she'd refused to yield. Holly searched the study again, her fingers tracing the desk's ornate carvings. A faint click rewarded her persistence. A hidden compartment sprang open, revealing a bundle of letters. Among them were faded love notes from Jonathan Withington, penned decades ago during a clandestine affair with Alina. The ink had faded, but the passion lingered. More startling was a recent letter, dated a week before her death. Alina, I beg you, do not publish this book. It will destroy us both. Jonathan's plea confirmed their tangled past, but did it make him a killer? Holly's mind raced. The Worthingtons' reputation and their fortune hinged on silence. Then came the diary's final entry, written hours before Alina's death. I know who you are, and I will not be silenced. Meet me at the old oak tree at midnight, and we will settle this once and for all. Holly frowned. Alina had planned a confrontation, but her body was found at her desk. Had she returned home, only to be ambushed? Or had the meeting never occurred? The autopsy report arrived that afternoon, a single word leaping from the page: poison. Alina had ingested a slow-acting toxin, likely administered earlier that day. The killer hadn't needed to be present when she collapsed. Her death had been a ticking clock set in motion hours before. The trap. Holly devised a plan. She gathered the suspects at Alina's mansion under the pretense of a breakthrough. The study glowed with candlelight, shadows flickering across their tense faces: Jonathan, Victoria, Marcus, Thomas, and Mrs. Jenkins. Holly held the diary aloft, her voice steady. I've decoded it all. Alina named her killer, and I have the evidence to prove it. She read aloud a fabricated entry. Marcus came to me today, begging me to stop. When I refused, he left a gift. It was a lie, but Holly watched Marcus's reaction. His smirk faltered, sweat beading on his brow. That's nonsense, he snapped. Holly pressed on, revealing the poison's origin, a rare compound tied to Worthington Pharmaceuticals, where Marcus oversaw production. The room held its breath. Marcus bolted for the door, but officers blocked his path. Cornered, he snarled. She was going to ruin us. That book, father's affair, the lies we built this town on, it would have ended everything. He'd slipped the poison into Alina's tea that morning, expecting her coded diary to remain an enigma. He hadn't counted on Holly. A legacy preserved. Marcus was led away in handcuffs, his confession echoing through the mansion. Holly stood alone in the study, the diary cradled in her hands. She'd unraveled the past to catch a killer, but the victory felt bittersweet. Alina's courage had cost her life, her words a torch against the darkness of Willow Creek secrets. Days later, Holly delivered Alina's manuscript to her publisher. The book hit shelves months after, its pages exposing the Worthington sins. As she read the dedication to those who seek the truth, Holly smiled faintly. Alina's voice lived on, a testament to the power of a writer's final cipher. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this story. Please don't forget to like, and even better, like and subscribe. Thank you very much, and I hope you have had or have a great day.